Welcome YouTubers! In this video we're going to show you how to do this.
You shouldn't be teaching.
You're actually not cool?
Alright, so we got this piece of ply. It's marine ply. I had to get a big 2400 sheet, cut it down to 100mm strips. We've got this stuff, which is Sikaflex 252.
Our fates rely on it.
I got a white one because it looks less messy having white on white.
It's really not necessary.
It is necessary.
And it was actually a fluke. I didn't mean to get a white one.
The truth!
I'm just making up things. Anyway, I cut him down 100mm by 1530. At least that's what that last one was. I haven't checked this one. I'm going to assume they're the same.
Don't make assumptions.
So I slide it in above the aircon unit. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you a better angle. There we go. Slid in above there, but I want it low as well, because that way I can glue over the top. Other thing you're going to need is a whole buttload of different clamps. These ones I found were the perfect size, and it doesn't have a size on it, but I believe it's a size smaller than these ones.
Okay, that doesn't help me.
So I'll see if these big ones still work, but I don't know if they're gonna fit.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Fingers crossed they do work. I did test these ones. These are little craft right ones, and they're nice and cheap. They're going to do the job. So if you want to save a buck, maybe you could just do a rib at a time and then just wait till it dries, do the next one, and just it'll take you a few days.
A few days?
So I've just squirted that on pretty liberally because I don't want it to come down.
And neither do we.
I don't think it will, because this is bloody strong stuff. I'm pretty sure this is a bit of a sound deadener as well, and it's kind of like a rubber, so surely it's got some sort of heat resistance coming through. Just make sure you've got him square before you start pushing it up, so you're not rubbing glue everywhere. All right, let's have a look. So I work from one direction. Clamp him on. It's that easy. Anywhere that I can get a good clamp on, I put one on. So that spot there, I did have to actually push it up and then clamp it because it wasn't pulling it up enough. But once it is up there, it's not going to go anywhere.
You can't tell me what to do.
So just giving it a light push to make sure that it is up hard. And if you really want to double check, jump on your wheel hub or something like that, or use your height if you're not a midget like me.
You're small.
And have a look to make sure that it is up as far as it can go. That'll prevent you having any sort of warps and twists. Not that it's going to be a big deal over the length of it if it is slightly warped or twisted, but I'm a bit pedantic, so I like things to be pretty straight.
Are we homophobes now?
If I can get them straight anyway, and it's a bus, so. Anyway, it's very easy. It's pretty much like the wall ones. That glue is rad. Highly recommend it. As you can see, I've used an array of different clamps. Just use what you've got, make it work, and I'll leave you with a time lapse doing the rest. Alright, all done. Problem is that one at the end there ran short on clamps, and you can see how many clamps I do have, so it's going to be a bit of a process unless you want to invest in hundreds and hundreds of clamps. But I'll wait for these guys to dry. Tomorrow I'll do the rest of them.
298 frozen patties later.
Alright, so today we're getting stuck into this ceiling. I've worked out that all I need to do is make sure that my lighting cables are in place, because all the other cables that might transition between the bus, I'm going to run them underneath the bus floor instead of running it through the ceiling, because if I have the ceiling up, at least I can start moving forward with other jobs like cabinetry and this damn Murphy bed, which I clearly can't finish. Because unless the ceiling's up, I can't put the walls up, and yeah, it's just a never ending, can't do that till you do that, can't do this till you do that. So what we're doing is that.
I'm glad we got that out of the way.
What we're doing first of all is we're going to install this van seal to the ceiling like we've done to the walls.
Flashback.
Let's tackle this stuff because it looks annoying.
I'm not annoying.
Yay. Alright, so first things first, we've got to cut down our van sill. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting down these strips like that because we've got this thermal bridge already where these timber battens are. I'm just going to cut sections into here because it'll be easy to install. Tuck it in behind that aircon unit, screw the aircon unit back on, and then tape down the ceiling into place.
That sounds hard.
I'm doing a double method of taping it, and I'm using quick grip to glue it down because I find that it's sticking a lot better. And I've also got to tape across this section here, tape across there with some reflective tape on the back to join the pieces together, and then tape across the front side of it as well.
You're making it too complicated.
So without further ado, let's get into it. G'day to Margaret Sanderson. You just subscribed to the channel while I'm filming this video.
It was an accident, right?
So I'm going to put that in the video. Thanks for subscribing. This is the tape that I'm using, but I've got an open roll here, so I'm going to go through that first, tape it down, then glue it off.
What about all your Jewish jokes?
So I'm just going to do this middle piece here. This one doesn't have a clip, and it's not going to have a clip either. Now, normally if I'm doing the side that has a clip, what I would do is undo that clip and then screw it back. But for now, I'm just going to slide it right over the top, and we'll get a good idea of how I'm doing this. Why are you in here?
I'm annoying. I'm annoying.
So, just going to run my tape, and I'm going to tuck it just under this existing piece so they all stick together nicely. Now, I'm going to slide my piece over the top. Because all I'm trying to do is get the ceiling on, I'm leaving these pieces hanging there freely.
You know what they say, if you're a lazy piece of
I can always lift them up after the fact, tape it down, spray glue it down, and stick it back down when I go to do the wall panels. So all I'm doing is sticking it to these top panels here. Alright, I've got to go grab something. Oh, alright.
It's a billion years later and you're still not cool.
This is the same foil tape that we use to tape off all of the 20mm and 15mm insulation on the walls.
Flashback.
The tape is brilliant.
Next, we'll start building rockets like Elon Musk. And all I'm going to do is tape it to the back side of this, stick into it, and then tape the front. It's really not that important.
And why? Why would I do it?
It's going to not do a great deal.
Then why would you do it? Why would you video it?
It's probably going to help a little bit on the reflectix. So, while I've got it, may as well use it. So, would have done it a little bit differently if I had my time again. As I say in virtually every video, I'm quite new at bus building, and I'm making my mistakes as I'm going, and hopefully it's preventing you from making mistakes.
Our only mistake was
Watching you.
Essentially, what I would have done is stuck down those pieces together as one long strip and pushed it up as one whole piece. That's how you should do it, and just learn from my mistake, I guess.
your mistake.
Then you wouldn't have such a pain in the butt of a time in trying to stick this piece to that piece. It'd be a lot easier to just get it all ready. The other thing you could do is roll your roll entirely out and cut down the strips to size and then just cut them off. But this way I found I was going to have the least amount of wastage, which is why I went with that.
So stingy and rat-like.
So that's pretty much the gist of how you do this. I'm going to set up a bit of a time lapse.
Let's go on a journey through all time.
Alright, so that's all now pretty well done.
Took you long enough.
I am not going to jump straight into these panels because I still have to run some wires. It's only a couple of wires for the lighting so I can access them and get the thing registered. I'll get these wires sorted and then we'll get back doing some paneling. So I've got my wires around about where I want them so we can get moving with this next piece. I found Betty being pregnant and Jan being 72. I do need 2 people to help me with this, but you could probably get away with 1 if they weren't 72 or pregnant.
You're being sexist, ageist, racist, or
But it is quite fiddly because they are 5.4 meters long. So what I learned with doing these guys is if you don't have your last piece screwed in, even if you just undo the screw like this, and just have it so that he's still in there and it's not going to fall on your head, but he is on an angle down. That allows for you to put the next piece up and knock it in with a little mallet. It is a little bit fiddly when you start, but at this stage it's pretty easy to get it up. So that's how I'm doing it.
Then we shouldn't do it.
Time to get the ladies to give me a hand. Yeah, that should be right. Thank you very much.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie Loki.
Hey!
Stop it!
He won't stop unless he's stopped.
Jump every time you do that.
You're on camera, by the way.
Oh, bloody hell, no.
Poor Jan.
Alright, so as you can see, doing these long panels are a little bit tricky because you do need to get that groove and that tongue to line up properly so you can knock them in and everything's all tickety-boo. Get an extra pair of hands. I really don't think you could do it solo. I mean, you probably could with maybe a sheet lifter or something like that, but getting a sheet lifter in a bus, again, is another problem. So get someone to help you.
Help! You need help!
So now the trick is to not fix the ceiling constantly as you're moving. You kind of want the last panel that you've done to be loose so that you've got enough room to get the tongue and groove in, especially on the longer pieces, because as you've seen, that is a little bit trickier when they're much longer, whereas these little ones are a bit easier.
Well, that's good.
If you remember from when I was framing this out, I actually had the panel pieces overhanging from the ribs, the metal ribs. So now I've got a little bit of fixing that's free from having a screw hitting the metal rib. So in order to make sure, I'm running my finger along, feeling out where that timber is starting, and then using a little bit of visual imagination to work out where is safe to screw and where I'm still going to get enough fixture and not break the timber.
Skinner with his crazy explanations.
So this piece here, because we're on a flat surface, it's got a massive hang down, and I don't know if you can see that from the angle that you're on. There you go. Kind of. Anyway, what I'm going to do is actually screw it off, and then I'll back the screws off so that it is holding up there and it's not going to fall on my head.
I would have passed for funny and...
Cool. That's looking good. Really good. Look at Togonda.
Peter, you can't speak Italian just because you have a mustache.
No, it's perfect for our little family.
Getting there.
Oh, clap, 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 clap.
Alright, so that was a little bit harder than what I was expecting. A lot of the panels, yet again, timbers were all bowed. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the quality of products nowadays, but timber is highly expensive and it's all bowed and all kinds of stuff.
Inflation is the increase in prices of goods or services over time.
Dan just got paid and needs to buy groceries.
Daniel Andrews has backed the decision of an independent tribunal that's cemented his spot as Australia's highest paid premier.
But hey, it's up there now. I had to do a little bit of jerry rigging similar to the walls, but she looks alright. Because there's a curve in it, the lines aren't lining up perfectly on walls that have to run the whole length of the bus. So that means this wall that is in this cargo area, and along with a wall that is going to be in front of the aircon unit.
Potentially.
So that's just a grin and bear sort of moment, I think, because you can't really do anything about that.
So you say.
Unless you were to space out, maybe if you were to space out your panels, but then you wouldn't have as good of a seal, and as a result, less thermal rating and sound rating and all that sort of thing. So less insulation is the best way to put it.
Wow, what a wordsmith.
So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now I can get going on the walls and I can worry about where the lights are going to go. But hey, she's up there. She's looking good. It's starting to turn into a little home, which is, it's nice. It's nice to see.
It is nice.
It's been a mission. It's been a mission.